She broke my nephew's ribs with a riding crop in front of the entire neighborhood. So I unlatched the stable, stepped aside, and within 60 seconds, her jaw was shattered, her blood stained the podium, and my horse was dragging her lifeless form through the heart of her precious community gala. But what I did next made them fear me more than they ever feared her. Want to know what happened? Keep reading. This is a story of monsters who don't hide in shadows, but rule from HOA boards. Meadowview Estates was the kind of place that looked perfect on a postcard. White picket fences, manicured lawns, and polite nods at the mailbox. But beneath the surface, it was a gated cage, bound by HOA rules and passive-aggressive newsletters. I never cared for the neighborhood pageants or the fake smiles. This year, though, everything changed. My nephew, Tommy, was chosen to raise the ceremonial flag at the Meadowview Derby. At 10 years old, with big eyes and a heart too kind for this world, he was my sister's only son, left in my care after cancer stole her away too soon. Tommy never complained, just picked up the pieces and found peace in the saddle, calming horses with a whisper. He earned that flag through sweat, early mornings, and muddy boots, not pity. Linda Hayes, the HOA president, didn't see it that way. Her son, Dylan, wasn't chosen, and that stung her pride. Linda ruled Meadowview like a queen, her platinum hair sprayed stiff, her clipboard a scepter. Status, optics, control, that's what mattered to her. The day before the Derby, I overheard her sneer to another mother. Favoritism at its finest. That boy doesn't belong on a podium. She was talking about my family, and with those words, she declared war. I kept quiet for now. The night before, Tommy adjusted his BOLO tie in the mirror and asked, "Will they like me?" I knelt, took his shoulders, and said, "Hold that flag like it's the only thing standing in a storm. You've earned this." He smiled, but I felt the tension brewing. Meadowview was about to witness something it couldn't ignore. The Derby dawned bright and hollow, with bunting flapping and silver gleaming under the sun. Linda strutted the grounds, her blood-red nails clutching her clipboard, her smile cold as stone. She watched us. I helped Tommy with his vest, handed him the flagpole, and watched his knuckles whiten as he gripped it. Then Linda moved in, ignoring me, leaning down to Tommy with a venomous coo. "Oh, honey, you're blocking the VIP seats. Those are for winners." I stepped between them. "He's the flag bearer, Linda. He's exactly where he belongs." She blinked, then hissed, "Some of us earned our place. Some inherited pity." I leaned closer, voice low. "Say that again, and I'll tear that fake smile off your face." She laughed, stepping back, but her eyes promised trouble. The ceremony began with a brass bell and thin applause. Tommy took the stage, his boots soft on the wood, the flagpole shaking with focus, not fear. He was ready. Then Linda glided forward, her white dress like a vulture's wing, climbing the platform uninvited. I stood, too far to reach him. She placed a hand on Tommy's shoulder, purring, "Let me fix this." Before he could speak, her knee slammed into his stomach. He crumpled, the flag crashing down. Gasps rippled, but no one moved. Tommy crawled, and Linda grabbed the ceremonial riding crop, striking his back with a sickening crack. "Again! Again!" he screamed. I snapped. I barreled through the crowd, fists bleeding from my nails, seeing red. "Drop it!" I warned. Linda froze but didn't comply, turning with a smile. "Children need discipline," she said. I grabbed her wrist, twisted until the crop fell, and pinned her to the podium. "Touch him again, and I'll feed you that clipboard, page by page." She whimpered, mascara smudging, but the crowd just watched, phones out, cameras clicking. I knelt by Tommy, his breath ragged, his back welted, tears streaming. "I'm here," I whispered. "No one will hurt you again." Linda straightened her dress and walked off. No shame, just arrogance. Something colder than rage settled in Mepperpose. I carried Tommy off the stage, his vest torn, his body bruised. I laid him by the medic tent, warning the nurse, "If anyone touches him, I'll break their spine." Then I marched to the stables. Linda sat in her VIP seat, sipping wine, smirking. "Teach him to behave," she called as I passed. That was the match on the gasoline. I reached stall 5, where Titan stood, a massive horse feared by the stable hands. His wild eyes met mine. "You remember the men who beat you?" I whispered. "One's out there now." I unlatched the gate. Titan stepped forward, calm but coiled. "No reins today. I said. Just run. I stepped aside. The crowd didn't see him at first. Titan emerged like a storm, hooves like war drums. Linda, mid-sip, turned, her smile fading. Titan screamed, a primal sound that silenced the gala. Balloons snapped free, children froze. The announcer dropped his mic. Titan charged the stage. Linda stumbled, her wine flute shattering. She turned to run too late. Titan reared, his hoof smashing her jaw. She spun, collapsing, blood pouring. He spun again, hind legs firing, lifting her off the platform into a splintered pillar. She crumpled, moaning. Titan sniffed her, bit her dress, and dragged her through the dirt, wine, and debris, her heels falling off, her hair a bloody mop. The crowd watched, silent, as if witnessing judgment. I stepped forward, crouching by her. You like rules, don't you? I pulled out her HOA code book, the one she fined me with for a bench 2 inches out of place. I tore it, lit a match, and let the ashes fall on her lap. Your reign's over, Linda. A horse knew better. She couldn't speak. Titan circled, then stepped over her, stopping beside me. I tied the ceremonial ribbon, meant for elite riders, to her ankle, a mark of shame. Titan bit her sleeve and dragged her again, her body scraping over gravel, her dress tearing. A girl gasped. Someone whispered, "Stop it." I answered loud, "No, this is the stop." They hadn't stopped Linda when she beat a child. They filmed, they sipped wine, they called it discipline. Titan dropped her in the field, her face a ruined, nose shattered, lips split, one eye swollen shut. I bent low. You ruled with fear. You humiliated people. You fined grandmothers for wind chimes. I pointed at the crowd. And you let her. I tore up her first complaint against me, over a birdhouse Tommy built, and dropped it on her chest. She's not in power anymore. Not because I sued. Because I showed up. I walked away, leaving her in her blood and rules, the ribbon trailing like defeat. EMTs finally moved, loading her onto a stretcher. She croaked something, lips trembling. I leaned down. You did this to yourself. The crowd stirred. I faced the HOA board, pale and shaking. You backed her fines, her threats. You watched her hurt a child and looked away. You don't get to anymore. Murmurs grew. Phones turned to the board. Someone shouted, "Call a vote." The board huddled, then announced Linda's immediate suspension, pending permanent removal. The crowd fell silent, a crack in the old order. As they wheeled Linda away, I ripped off her HOA badge and tossed it in the trash. She moaned, then passed out. That night, the video went viral. HOA president attacks boy, horse drags her. Comments flooded, journalists called, HOA lawyers quit. Other neighborhoods sent support. By morning, the Meadowview sign, once boasting an HOA-governed community, had duct tape across it. No Linda, no cowards. Justice wasn't polite. It had hooves. Weeks later, Meadowview was quiet. No HOA patrols, no threats on doors. Tommy lay on the couch, his back scarred from the crop. Is she gone? He asked. She's done, I said. She'll never hurt anyone again. He gripped his blanket. People watched and did nothing. That hurt more than the bruises. I held his hand. They were scared. But fear doesn't excuse silence. Later, he fed Titan an apple, smiling for the first time in days. You're not broken, Tommy, I said. You're scarred. Those lines tell your story. Linda's house stood empty, her lawn dead, her name unspoken. The old practice paddock, once restricted by HOA rules, was open. Tommy rode Titan, joined by kids. Linda had silenced a girl shamed for her mom's flag, a boy labeled disruptive. We called it the Titan program. Free riding lessons for any child overlooked or hurt. Neighbors helped lemonade, fixed gates, donations. Even a man who'd once complained about Tommy apologized, tears in his eyes. Rebuilding wasn't perfect, just intentional. One evening, Tommy asked, "Do people change?" I answered, "Pain changes them, and if they're brave, it turns into growth." A wooden sign went up, Meadowview Riding Grounds. No approval needed. It stayed, a reminder that leadership comes from action, not titles. We didn't just survive Linda. We overcame her. Justice came on 4 legs, leaving a boy who still rides, a horse that trusts, and a community that cares. That was enough. This wasn't just about one bully's fall. It was about standing up when no one else would, showing a child that monsters bleed, and dragging injustice into the light. I didn't want to be feared. I wanted peace. But when they hurt the defenseless, you don't wait for a meeting. You cross the line and leave footprints for others to follow. So what do you think? Was violence the only way to stop Linda, or could justice have come another way? Have you seen power abused and wish someone would act? Share your story or stance in the comments. Your voice matters. Tell us where you stand on violence, injustice, and standing up. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that challenge silence. Let's keep this conversation alive.